I dropped to my knees anyway.
焦んだよな、考えることがよ。こっちのトラップにことごとく引っかかりやがる。バカ丸出しだ。
Ghost glares at me. I glare right back, but considering I can't even stand up, I doubt I look very intimidating.
ああ、マスクが脱げちまった。ヒーロー敗北の瞬間だな。
She creates another huge wall of spears.
石には死ね。のたうち回りながら死ね。
And another. The two walls of spears merged together, it turned into a single wall of swords.
安心しろよ、お兄ちゃん。
She transforms all of her spears into swords, making them even more powerful.
すぐにそっちに。妹も行くからよ。
ゴースト
But like, why would they become more powerful? Aren't spears... Well, I mean, it's like... Look, all I'm saying is spears would... You know, they're meant for throwing. Well, not spears specifically. You get what I mean. Ghost curls her fingers into a fist. Her swords all point towards me.
じゃあな、お兄ちゃん。
Her lips curl into a smirk. But just as she's about to swing her fist down, she loses her balance and stumbles. Wait, did she reach her limit? No, I don't think that's it.
くそが。
Again, she stumbles again, and this time she falls to her knees. But she doesn't look exhausted, just surprised, as if she tripped over something she wasn't expecting. I'm so shocked that all I can do is stare blankly at her. Annoyed, Ghost slams her fist into the ground and glares at me. Wait, no, not at me. Behind me.
てめ、何しやがった。
不遜ですわね。女王を前にして図が高いですわよ。
I know that voice from anywhere. I mean, out of the characters I expected to show up to save Kakeru's fucking ass, I was not expecting Haruka. Honest, yeah, I was not expecting Haruka in the slightest. I know that voice. That's what I'm saying.
遅くなって申し訳ありません、かける様。助っ人登場ですわ。
Does that mean she remembers him the most? Was it because of Sora? It's one of the two. Probably Sora. Turning around, I see a familiar face smiling gently down at me. Kosaka. Wait, she just said my name, didn't she? That means I'm no longer under the influence of Sora's powers. No one was? Wait, what do you mean? Never mind.
俺のこと思い出して。
おかしなことをおっしゃいますわね。あなた様のことを忘れたことなど一秒たりともございませんわ。
Is it like a case of the two personalities share a different memory? So, while the other Haruka was forgetting Kakeru, this one wasn't? Because he wasn't out? I don't know. Does that mean Sora's powers never worked on Kosaka in the first place? That's unexpected. To think she'd come to my rescue me.
立てまして。
はい。
I take her outstretched hand and rise to my feet.
助かりました。
どういたしまして。司令官からのメッセージで気がつきましたの。ゴーストさんの復活。
Oh, it wasn't Sora. She's still asleep, I guess. It was Renya.
いい機会ですから少しお話でもと思ったのですが、まさかカケル様がいらっしゃったなんて。運命、いえ愛がもたらした必然ですわね。
Look, Haruka, I understand that you're making yourself look better for the third episode, but like, I don't think I'm finished with Sora's episode, okay? And I can tell because let's just say that there's going to be a lot more H scenes. You know, I saw the CG library. I saw the memories. There's more than one H scene. Let's just say. Senpai giggles, then whirls to face Ghost.
改めましてこんばんは、ゴーストさん。
敵に回るってことでいいんだな、エンプレスさんよ。
And since when wasn't she?
コードネームでしたか。せっかく司令官からいただいたお名前ですが、それあまり好きじゃありませんの。やはりあなた方とはセンスが合いません。それにリグベータに組みすればカケル様の気も引けるかと思っていましたが、全然なびいてくださらないんですもの。ですから正攻法で攻めることにいたしましたわ。今宵はお別れを言いに来ましたの。
そうかい。
Ghost struggles to her feet, but the moment she does, a stray cat jumps out and weaves between her legs. That causes her to lose her balance once again, and she falls to her knees again.
あら
Once more. Wait,
元気な猫ちゃんですこと。
that causes her to lose balance once more, and she falls to her feet again. Okay, yeah.
くそ、なんなんだてめえの力。イラつくぜ。
Ghost's mask of composure crumbles, and she starts shouting. I'm as confused as she is. Not only was that a bizarre thing for a cat to do, it was way too convenient for us. That weird cat is what keeps tripping Ghost up. Some invisible power is preventing her from avoiding it.
カケル様、今のうちですわ。あの方はもう何もできませんから。いえ、何もさせませんから。
ずいぶんな口聞いてくれるじゃねえか。ああ、
そのようなありさまで凄まれても、ずいぶんとお疲れではなくて、万全のあなたならば無様に神戸を垂れることもなかったでしょうに。
珍奇な催眠術ごときにこの俺が。
催眠術ですか。見当違いも甚だしいですわね。
だと？てめえ、一体俺に何をした？
答える義理も義務もございません。さあ、カケル様。
Kosaka turns to face me, her skirt fluttering.
あとは煮るなり焼くなり、お好きにどうぞ。
What do you mean by that?
ありがとうございます、先輩。本当に助かりました。
私の力など微々たるものですわ。カケル様ならご自身の力のみで事足りたでしょうから。
There's something reassuring about that smile of hers. Sorry, I didn't trust you before, Senpai. I put a comma between the sorry and the I for no reason. I take a step forward. It's time to end this.
もう勝った気かよ。イラつくぜ。
She launches a spear at me from her kneeling position, but I cover my arm in fire and brush it aside. I guess she really has exhausted herself. That spear was a lot slower than the others.
終わりにしよう、ゴースト。
やめとけ。お前には無理だ。俺に触ることすらできねえよ。
いいや、
あ？
飛べないだろう。もう空中にいること、それが発動のトリガーだろう。毎回そうだった。高坂先輩の力の影響下にある今、お前は動けない。 もう飛べない。終わりだ、ゴースト。
So what you're saying is her teleportation powers are like the movie Jumper. I did not expect to have a I did not expect to bring up that fucking movie at all in relation to this game, but well, there you go.
来るな。来るなって。来るんじゃねえ。来んなっつってんだろうが。
そうやって怯えていたはずの子を無残に殺したくせに、今さらビビッ。
Oh well, what the fuck happened?
今さらビビってんじゃねえよ。
I grabbed Ghost by the collar and yanked her to her feet. I finally got you.
だっせ。お前はいっつも女に助けられてんな。
But at least it's a hot girl that saves him every time.
ああ、そうさ。俺はただの無能だ。だが助けてくれる人がいる。そのおかげでお前を。
どうするってんだ。
決まってんだろ。焼き尽くす。二度と殺しなんてできないように、二度と俺たちの前に現れないように、お前の魂ごと灰にしてやる。
意味分かって言ってんのか。いい子ちゃんのお前にできんのかよ。
できるさ。そのつもりで来た。アーティファクトを奪うだけじゃダメだ。お前はまた新たな力を求めて人を殺すだろう。九条を、結城を、高坂先輩を襲うだろう。空を殺そうとするだろう。させない。お前を野放しにはできない。だから殺す。お前は殺さなきゃいけない。
Guys, I think his powers are going out of control. I think his powers are influencing him.
燃え尽きろ。塵も残さず灰になれ。
やっぱてめえはバカだ。
ああ、
マスクなしでどう防ぐつもりだ。俺が灰になるのが先か、お前が石になるのが先か。我慢比べといこうぜ。
いいや、どっちもお前だよ。お前はもうアーティファクトに見放された。バカな。
Instead of me, it's Ghost who's turned into stone. Her powers have gone haywire and started eating away at her. Is it? I mean, it could be because of the fire, or it could be because she's so exhausted that she can't really control her evil eye. Yeah. She no longer has the ability to control the evil eye. Oh, well, I guess I didn't need to theorize, they just tell me straight up.
年貢の納め時ってやつみてえだな。こうなっちまったら潔く諦めるしかねえ。
終わりだ。これで終わりだ。
ああ、終わりさ。俺はお前に殺される。気分いいだろ。他人の命を踏みにじるのはよ、最高だろなあ。
俺はお前とは違う。
いいよ、同じさ。おめでとうお兄ちゃん。これでお前も人殺しだ。
Listen, Fujo killed first. She doesn't know that she did, but, you know, Kakeru's not the only goody two-shoes that killed someone. If he actually does kill her. It's over. Ghost turns to stone and crumbles to pieces. She's dead.
他者を害した力で自滅。下道にはお似合いの最後ですわね。
I suppose Haruka has a point. In the end, Ghost was killed by her own artifact. But I'm the one who pushed her that far. Yeah, there's no denying it. I'm the one who... The strength drains from my limbs, and I drop to my knees. Okay, maybe he didn't get out... Maybe he wasn't out of control with his artifact.
平気ですか、かける様。
なんとか。
A wave of exhaustion washes over me. I don't think I can get up. I used up everything I had back there. But now, no one else will have to suffer.
なんということだ。
司令官。
Takamine steps out of the shadows. He's staring blankly at the shattered chunks of stone that were once Ghost. Shit. I should have expected he'd come here.
君たち、なんてことを、何をしたのか、分かっているのか。
ああ、分かっているさ。
殺人犯が最後を迎えた。それだけのことですわ。
それだけ？それだけだと。
Takamine's eye strike sparks. Are we gonna have to fight him too?
彼女は私の希望だった。私の光だった。いや、すべてのユーザーの母となる人だった。それを貴様らは。
Takamine's stigma appears on his face.
許さんぞ。私は貴様らを断じて許さん。
His eye glows with a bewitching light. Wait, it can't be. Don't tell me he's also. I can't move. My body's stiffened up, and I can't look away either. I'm losing the feeling in my fingertips. The evil eye. How can he be using it? Don't tell me he's also a user of the evil eye.
血の気の多いこと。
Senpai steps in front of me. With Takamine's line of sight interrupted, I'm free from the evil eye's power.
かける様、ここは任せてくださいまし。司令官は私が。
気をつけてください。奴の目を決して見ないように。
ご助言ありがとうございます。すぐ終わらせますわ。そして二人でゆっくりと休息を。ほら。
Senpai stumbles.
ごめんなさい、かける様。
はい。
時間切れですわ。
先輩。
Her legs give out, and I hurry to catch her before she falls to the ground. Don't tell me.
すみません。力が。
I knew it. Holding Ghost in place used up too much of Kosaka's stamina.
覚悟しろ。彼女を殺めた罪、万死に値する。
I avert my gaze from his glowing eye. What do? Both of us are out of steam. Damn it. There's only one thing to do. I've got to beat him on my own somehow.
ごめんなさい。私。
いえ、十分助けてもらいましたから。今度は俺が気合い入れる番です。
無茶はダメよ。あなたは休んでいなさい。
I mean, I was waiting for her to come back, but like, it took her a while.
ソフィー。
Sophie appears out of nowhere and floats down beside us. It doesn't really feel like the time to be resting, Sophie.
大丈夫よ。手は打った。
手を。
平服せよ、屈服せよ。魔王から授けられし我が力に。見よ、無知猛獰なる愚者よ。これが。
Takamine's bullshit suddenly cuts off, and he clutches his eyes. For a second, I think it's all part of the Chuny charade, but it looks like that's not the case. Sophie wasn't kidding me when she said she had everything under control. She's brought reinforcements.
なんだ目が私の目が
あなたの視力を奪いました。もう魔眼は使えません。
I didn't realize she was that good with her powers. Real recognizes real, my bad.
はい、ご苦労様。あとは流れ作業ね。ノア、わかっているわ。
I guess Sophie was also forced to call Noah unlucky.
ジ・オーダー、アクティブ、パニッシュメント。
なんだあー
Takamine's arm juts out up to the side, straining as if he's being crucified on an invisible cross.
はい、上出来。さあ、仕上げよ。
Damn, I thought that second ambrosia was going to be used on Kakeru to, you know, save. I thought this is how I thought the events would go down. He'd use the power of the fire the fire powers. It would go out of control, or something or the other, and then he'd use the ambrosia. So then he would, you know, be fine. But then I was like, that would probably get rid of the other powerful artifact. So, you know, I guess this explains what the second ambrosia was for.
眠っちゃえ。
We call it Chekhov's ambrosia around here. With a faint whoosh, she injects the ambrosia into Takamine.
力が私の力が
もうすぐ力も何もないただの人になるよ。理想郷とか諦めて。
バカなせっかく力を得たのに私は選ばれし者だ。
何がその力に私もお兄ちゃんも散々振り回された。もう十分だよ。特別になりたいなら一人で楽しんでてよ。これ以上こっちに迷惑かけるな。これ以上お兄ちゃんをいじめるな。
光が私の光が消える。
I mean, he's not gonna die, but, you know, ironic that he's talking about the light when he's blind. Well, no, technically he does die, just, you know, for a bit. Not permanently, like Ghost. If she really is dead. Takamine crumbles to the ground. The ambrosia put him to sleep. It's over. Very climactic ending. That's the confusing part, right? Because is it the ending? Because, like, I know that there's more CGs left. Are they like an after story? I'm saying CGs, but I mean H scenes. It's over. This time. It's really over. Or am I trolling? Did I troll myself by looking at how many CGs there were left and they aren't actually H scenes?
お兄ちゃん。
Tears in her eyes. Sora runs over to me. Thank goodness.
ソラ、よかった。本当によかった。体、大丈夫か？おかしいところないか？
それはこっちのセリフでしょ。またちょっと石になってない？
大丈夫。俺は大丈夫だ。それより高坂先輩を。
高坂先輩、大丈夫ですか？はい。ごめんなさい。リグベーダー、壊滅ね。
At Yuki's words, everyone looks down. toward Takamine, and those toward the shattered remnants of Ghost. She's almost dissolved to sand at this point. Then toward the shattered remnants of Ghost.
早く立ち去りましょう。人目につくわけにはいかない。
そうですね。高坂先輩、捕まってください。ありがとうございます。
待ってくれ。アーティファクトを回収しないと。
I was about to say that too, but I'm sure Sophie's got it, right?
私がやるわ。あなたたちは早く帰って休みなさい。
お兄ちゃん、行こう。
I take Sora's hand and struggle to my feet. After one last look at Ghost, the five of us leave the shrine. The user of the evil eye has been defeated, and the other user of the evil eye has also been defeated. Our city is finally safe again.
お兄ちゃん、本当に大丈夫？
ああ、大丈夫だ。
一人にしないでよ、バカ。
悪かった。みんなもごめん。迷惑かけた。
私だって。
I mean, this battle kind of just answered all of my questions of they reveal Ghost. How are they going to get away with having the characters remember her after this? If when Kakeru turns back time, well, first of all, he doesn't, and then second of all, you just deal with her in the same episode. So she isn't the overarching villain, but you know, Takamine having the evil eye powers implies that there are multiple users, which means that other faction probably can just give out that same artifact to other people. I'm not sure. And then I guess the other question would have been, here's the thing, right? There have been a lot of what's the word? There are a lot of things that they've talked about that would have been very annoying if they kind of make the characters forget about, right? And also the you know, the friendship between the four girls. So I guess it just makes sense that episode 2 doesn't have time travel. I mean, technically at the start, but that doesn't really count.
話は後日にしましょう。彼女死にそう。
Kind of the reason why I didn't really point out I didn't really think about them not using time travel in this episode is because, well, one, the concept, the idea of artifact users dying if their artifact is stolen is kind of a big deal, and we didn't bring that up once in episode 2, right? It's kind of never brought up past the first timeline in episode 1, but I guess that the idea of what was it? Of Kakeru being a singularity is a bigger revelation, right?
すみません。
そうだな。行こう。
We pick up the pace. It's really over. No one else will get hurt. Will have to get hurt. No one. Yeah, I doubt that. Day 513. Just in case, Sora and I are taking the day off from school today too. But fortunately, Sora's powers have completely vanished, and Mama remembers us again. In fact, she's even forgotten that she forgot us and that in the first place. I end up spinning the story about how I accidentally gave Sora a cold, and while Mum did yell at me about it, at least it works to get her to call us in sick for one more day. Normally I'm annoyed about sitting through her lectures, but this time, as I'm listening to her chew me out, all I feel is relief. Once I'm done talking to Mum, I call up Ms. Narase and let her know that my petrification has healed. In response, she says,
昨日のあれ、もしかして新見くん絡んでない？
He's a sharp one. Wait, were you tied up? Oh, he knew. I came up with a believable excuse to get her off my case. At Kujo's suggestion, once we left the shrine, we went to the payphone by the station and called an ambulance when the paramedics asked us what the emergency was. We just said we'd found someone collapsed at the shrine and a pile of dust. Thanks to that, I'm pretty sure Takamina was safely picked up. But the arrival of the ambulance would have caused a stir, and I'm sure Ms. Narase had to deal with fielding questions and whatnot. Oh, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I thought they just left him there. You know, when he eventually wakes up again, I'm sure he'll be fine. I ought to apologize to her, but I'm not sure I should tell her everything that happened. Regardless, we've completed our mission. I can finally rest easy.
指先の咳か。すぐ治ってよかったね。
ああ、そうだな。
I mean, that would make sense considering that Takamine, who petrified him, also got his powers taken away. So like, it's the same thing as Sora's powers. By the time I woke up, the bits of my fingers that Takamine had managed to petrify were back to normal. Yet now Sora is completely free from her artifact's curse, and with no lingering side effects. Because of how hard I pushed myself yesterday, my stigma expanded from my fist and now goes all the way to my elbow. Fortunately, I haven't undergone any physical or mental changes as a result. Everything's turning out okay.
なんか、やっと落ち着けるな。
ずーっと大変だったもんね。石になったり、私がおかしくなったり。
このまま解決だといいんだけどな。
そうだね。
Sora replies half-heartedly, her gaze focused on my computer monitor. I peek over at her shoulder and see she's scanning the news.
昨日のこと、記事になってたりするか？
なさそう。
そうか。
I figured the discovery of a second petrified person would make the headlines, but so far no one said a word. Even though we didn't do anything about her after she died, the ghost continued eroding away. Maybe by the time the ambulance had arrived, she had turned completely to dust. I was making a joke. That was meant to be a joke. I didn't know she actually turned to dust. I mean, she became a rock person and then dissolved into fine powder or whatever. I'm not sure if that's because her powers were going berserk, or if Sophie did something to keep the incident from blowing up. Another thing that's bugging me is, how could Takamine be able to use the evil eye? Was he also contracted to it? Everything should have been resolved, but I still have a few questions left.
なんか、本当に風邪だったら寝てればいいけど、健康体だと何していいかわかんないね。
まあな。今日は完全なずる休みだし、夕方まで暇だな。
Once school's over, everyone's going to gather at my apartment. Sophie said she'd explain everything to us tonight, but the two of us have nothing to do until then. So to fill the time, I give Sora the whole story of what happened while she was unconscious.
いやー、マジ、起きた時ビビりましたよ。ニーヤいないんだもん、どこにも。
Apparently, Sora woke up not long after I left. Oh, she was awake when he left. When he was fighting her. When she saw I wasn't around, she panicked and tried to call my phone. I didn't think Sora would be able to use her phone for a while after waking up, so I left my own phone back home, which ended up being a mistake. Worried that something might have happened to me, Sora totally forgot the possibility that her powers were still affecting her, and tried to call Kujo instead. Of course, the fact that she could use her phone in the first place meant that her powers effects had vanished, but she hadn't realized that at the time. At any rate, Kujo didn't seem the least bit upset when Sora called her in the middle of the night, agreeing to start searching for me right away. Next, Kujo let Yuki know I was missing via a group message. Meanwhile, Sora got changed and prepared to head out to go look for me. That was when she saw my note.
やべえって思ったね。コンビニかよマジかよって。いや、私置いてコンビニ行くのもおかしいけどさ、それより宮子先輩たちにどう言い訳するか焦ってた。
So in the end, it was Sora's panic screw up that saved the day. Right as she was about to text Kujo that the emergency was over, Sophie showed up. That was probably right after Ghost shredded my Sophie mask to bits. Sophie explained to Sora that I was fighting Ghost, and told her to head to the shrine, which is how everyone knew to show up there to save me.
高坂先輩には連絡取らなかったのか？
ああ、慌ててたからすっぽ抜けてた。結城先輩はグループチャットで一緒に連絡できたけど、はるか先輩は入ってなかったし。
I mean, it really was a coincidence that Kosaka no, I'm not saying the honorific. That Kosaka arrived at the perfect time to save me. I guess I could have saved myself a lot of trouble if I'd just waited a little longer for everyone to gather. While I did go after Ghost with a plan in mind, the plain and simple of it was that I hadn't trusted my friends enough. Also underestimated Ghost. We eat lunch and kill time until sunset, then everyone gathers at my place. The first thing I do when everyone arrives is apologize.
私こそごめんなさい。とても頼ってもらえるような状況じゃなかったから。
そうね。記憶が抜け落ちていた実感がある。あなたや空のことを私は気にも留めていなかった。責められる立場にないわね。
下手したら起きなかったかもしれないしね、私。力も解除されなかったかもしれないし。まあ、無茶すんなよとは思ったけどさ。
そうだな。あの時は俺一人でやるしかないって思い込んでた。仮に連絡が取れてもダメだろうって。
新見くんのことを忘れちゃうなんて。本当にごめんなさい。でも、はるか先輩覚えてたんですよね。はい。忘れてはいなかったです。
Okay, I'm glad it isn't the case of both personalities have different memories, because, like, that'd be boring. I don't know if it'd be cliche, because, like, I've only seen it happen in Danganronpa, but, like, I haven't seen that many characters with multiple personalities that play a non-villainous role in fiction. But, sure, yeah.
なおさら、私たちの失態が痛いわね。宮子から事情を聞いて気にかけていたにもかかわらず。
いやー、ある意味元凶な私が言うのもなんだけどさ、みんな無事でよかったよね。はるか先輩、ニーニを助けてくれてありがとうございました。いえ、そんな。私は何も大事な時に疲れてしまって。
I mean, like, even in Danganronpa, the split personality of said character is a fucking serial killer, so, like, the point of a character with split personalities in fiction being the villain isn't really it still stands, it still holds up, except with Haruka. But like she can be evil.
彼女、ゴーストは二人で倒したのよね。
But only in the kinky way.
ああ、そうだな。最後は俺が。
自滅です。自滅しました。自分で石になって。
Osaka interrupts me. She doesn't want me to have to say it. I guess I should accept that kindness. I tell the others everything else that I learned about Ghost. For starters, I know that she had at least 3 artifacts. The Evil Eye, an artifact that let her summon spears, and one that let her teleport. Where she got all of them is still unknown. Then there's also Takamine. He was also the user of the Evil Eyes. He was able to use the Evil Eye's power as well. As for why that is, none of us know. None of us knows. The best guess we've come up with is that maybe there are 2 Evil Eyes. Maybe there are multiple Evil Eyes. I'm sure Sophie will explain. After we're done swapping stories, the 5 of us fall silent. That's when the person with all the answers shows up.
おそらくは眷属家でしょうね。
眷属。
Yuki's eyes sparkle with curiosity. The word must have tickled her chinny sensibilities. I mean, yeah.
とある手順を踏むことによって自分の持つアーティファクトの力を他者に分け与えることができるの。
そんなことが。生異物は語らなかった。まだまだ私すらも知らない未知の力を秘めているようね。
語らなくて当然。アーティファクトが本来持っている力じゃなくて人が生み出した技術なんだから。当然私から語るつもりもない。けれどペラペラと話したおバカさんがいたみたいね。
そっか。アーティファクトが教えてくれないなら知っている人に聞くしかない。ってことはソフィーさんと同じ異世界の住人が魔眼のユーザーにその技術を教えた。
はるかだったかしら。
はい。
あなた何か聞かなかった？フードのあの子から。
いえ、特に何もないです。はい。
そう。あの子やレンヤってこのアーティファクトを見たことは？
いえ、それもないです。
回収できたのか？魔眼のアーティファクトは。
いいえ。
大丈夫なの？それ。
考えられる可能性は2つ。すでに他の適合者の元へと移動した。もう一つは、あの子たちはユーザーではなかった。
異世界人がゴーストと高峰に力を分け与えた。
じゃあラスボスがまだいるってこと？
Yes. Finally, something I theorized was true. Finally, it wasn't a complete shot in the dark. I knew that the fucking Evil Eye user was multiple people.
どうやらそのようね。
Because the main user of the Evil Eye is in the other world.
そんな、やっと解決できたと思ったのに。
そんなに悲観することはないわよ。フードのあの子。仮に眷属だとしたらとんでもない才能だわ。あそこまで力を引き出すなんて。
I mean, like, I wasn't exactly right because I theorized that it was multiple artifacts. but in reality, it's one artifact being shared among multiple users. So like, technically, not the same, but also like, you know, semantics.
眷属として分け与えた力は通常はかなり弱体化するの。あそこまで使える子はめったにいない。性格面でもそうよね。力をばらまいてこの世界を混乱させようとしているとしても、あの子以上どころか並ぶような子も簡単には見つからないでしょう。つまり当面は平和が続くってこと。素直に喜んでいいわよ。
That is what you said in the at the end of the first episode, and then they foreshadowed Ghost. So what's gonna happen at the end of this episode?
マーガンが次の所有者を見つけていたら。
実際のところそっちの方が面倒ね。ま、どっちにしてもフードのあの子以上に厄介なことにはならないでしょうけど、とにかくみんなよく頑張ったわね。第一部完ってところかしら。協力に感謝するわ。
This is more like Act 2, Episode 2, in fact.
何かあればまた来るわ。それまでゆっくりと休みなさい。じゃあね。
はい。ありがとうございました。
Sophie vanishes before Kudo even finishes thanking her. So there's either a mastermind or a new user of the evil eye. I thought it was over, but I guess not. Still, at least there isn't anyone out there who's going around killing people for fun anymore. Peace has returned to our town. Even if it's only a momentary reprieve, we can rest easy for now.
みんな、お疲れ様。ありがとう。本当に。
もともと私がお願いしたことだし、こちらこそありがとうございました。
リグベーダの野望はついえた。バルハラソサイエティも眠りにつくときね。再び必要になる。その時まで。
あ、その設定忘れてた。もうはるか先輩も仲間ですよね。仲間。よろしくお願いします。
Also, can Sora still be part of Valhalla when she doesn't have an artifact? I mean, like, Kakeru didn't have an artifact either, but like, he did have an artifact, he just couldn't use it. But so he's kind of on the same page as Sora, but now he does have an artifact, and he can actually use it. So like, you know, unlucky, El Sora, not because of her crush on her brother. That's you know, that's the end trope stuff. We'll welcome our new comrade. After chatting for a while longer, we finalized plans for a formal celebration party and call it a day. Honestly, I'd have been fine with just doing it now, but I guess everyone wants to let me and Sora get some rest. Get some more rest. Rest.
それじゃあお邪魔しました。私も一緒に出るね。晩ご飯買ってくる。
後で食いに行けばいいだろ。
いや、ニーヤン自覚ないかもだけど顔色悪いから。休んでなさい。
はいはい。気をつけてな。
ほいほい。それじゃあ行きましょう。またね、新見くん。
さようなら。
お邪魔しました。
ああ、また。
I see everyone off. Wait until I hear Sora lock the door, then return to the living room. I sit down on my bed and heave a sigh. I suppose I am still a little tired. I never knew how exhausting it was to use an artifact.
ちょうどいいタイミングで一人になってくれたわね。
Oh, more? Sophie, who was supposed to have left, teleports back in. I guess she's got business with me.
どうした？
励ますつもりはないけれど、 どうもあなた内省的すぎるところがあるから一応話しておいてあげようと思って。
ああ。
ノアって子はともかく都を連れて行かなかったのは正解だったわ。あの子案外心が脆い。フードの子の最後を受け止めきれなかったでしょうね。
そうか。
そういうわけだから元気出しなさい。
今日はやけに優しいな。
少しは見直してあげたのよ、あなたのこと。
どうも。ありがとな。みんなを連れてきてくれて。
どういたしまして。もっとも私が都に力の使い方を教えられたのはあなたのおかげだし、半分はあなたの功績みたいなものね。
Well, I guess that explains why he was able to blind Takamine, considering she didn't really train her powers in this episode like she did in the first episode.
俺の？なんで？
わからなくてもいいわよ。体調はどうなの？昨日随分と無理したみたいだけれど。
疲れば残ってるが問題ない。アンブロシアまだ残ってるか？返すよ、アーティファクト。
もうしばらく預けておくわ。また必要になるでしょうから。
そうか。わかった。
じゃあね、ゆっくり養生しなさい。
I'm just... Is that gonna be set up for episode 3? To fucking bite him in the ass or something? Who knows, maybe it'll be a good boon throughout the rest of the episodes, but like, I don't know, with how this fucking game is structured, you can never be too sure. Sophie gives me a little wave and vanishes off, and it vanishes into a black rift.
元気出せ。か。
Honestly, I thought she would talk about how it would have how Ghost would have died anyway if Sophie took her artifact or something, right? Because taking the artifact of her user would kill them or whatever. It's like, remind me if I'm wrong. That hasn't been discussed in this episode, because I feel like Kakeru would have had a stronger reaction similar to what happened in the first episode. I flop down onto my bed. I think I'll close my eyes for a bit, just until Sora gets back. Well, I guess her name...
お、起きた。
I guess her name fits now. God damn it.
悪い。俺、どれくらい寝てた？
知らない。今帰ってきたところだし、10分とかじゃない？
ああ。そっか。
大丈夫？めっちゃ汗かいてるけど。
なんか、あれだ。ビルから落ちる夢見た。
ああ、体がビクってするやつだ。ご飯食べる？まだ寝る？
いや、食べる。
ほいほい。じゃあ食べましょう。
I wipe the sweat off my forehead, clamber down from the bed, and sit at the table. Sora brings us drinks and sits down across from me.
何買ってきた？
ホッカモット亭のお弁当。唐揚げとハンバーグどっちがいい？
どっちでもいいよ。
じゃあ私ハンバーグ。
Sora pulls 2 boxes and 2 pairs of chopsticks out of the bag next to her and sets them on the table. We grab our respective dinners and start eating.
明日から休みでよかったね。
だなあ。体調戻しておかないと。結局1週間丸々休んじまったな。
私もほぼ1週間だな。あ、でも忘れられてたから欠席した記録とか残ってなかったりして。
本当にもういいのか、体調？
私は元気だよ、絶好調。ニーヤンの方が心配だよ。
俺も大丈夫。力を使わなきゃ侵食の心配もないだろうしな。
私見てないけど、炎のアーティファクトをもらったんだよね。
ああ。
私的にはちょっと怖い力だけど、でもあれだよね。 主人公っぽい。
そうか？
ちっちゃい頃にさ、10年くらい前あったじゃん、格ゲーで。
ああ、いたな。
私好きだったんだよな、かっこよくて。ちょっとやってよ、真似してよ。
Why do I feel like that's a reference to something? Hang on. Back when I was little, like 10 years ago or something, or so, wasn't there that fighting game with the fire guy protagonist? Because here's the thing, right? The protagonist is throwing me off. It's like when I think of fighting game with fire guy, I'm like Street Fighter. And I guess you could say Ryu is a protagonist, but like it's kind of the same thing in like Tekken and like Mortal Kombat, where like they're all protagonists in their own way, right? I don't know. Maybe it's a different fighting game. Maybe it's Killer Instinct or Soul Calibur or Fatal Fury. I'm not that privy to stories of in those games, the stories in those games. Maybe it's BlazBlue. I don't know.
やらねえよ。
いいじゃん、指先にポッてしてさ、ふって吹き消すの。あの勝利のポーズやってよ。
だからやらねえよ、恥ずかしい。
Maybe it's Smash Bros. You know, Mario has fire power. Never mind.
KO! You win!
Okay, you didn't have to make it more obvious that it's Street Fighter.
へへ、燃えたろ。
うわー、やった、やっちゃった、ノリノリじゃねえか。
実はずっとやりたかった。
Honestly, it just looked like he burnt her. It was behind Zora. I thought he fucking. We continued joking around as we eat our dinner. We were doing this during lunch too, but until today, it's been non-stop. It's been non-stop crisis for so long. Yeah, it's been non-stop crisis for so long that these casual moments where we can mess around without worry feel especially precious. Once we're done eating, we gather up the empty containers and throw them out. Still feeling a little peckish, we munched through the chocolates Sora brought on her way back. We kill time by watching a few movies, but I can tell Sora's getting restless. She's no longer paying attention to the screen, instead shooting furtive glances at me. I could just pretend I haven't noticed, but she's probably waiting for me to say something.
どうした？
何？
何もないなら別にいいけど。
ちょっと待って。
Flustered, Sora sits up straight and adjusts her posture. Sits up straight and adjusts her posture. I could more or less guess what's coming. I paused the video and turned to face her.
この前の話、ちゃんと治ったらって言ってたよね。
ああ、聞くよ。
うやむやにしちゃってもよかったんだけど、やっぱりちゃんと言いたくて。私ね、お兄ちゃんのことが好きなんだけど。
I can't tell if that but is because she wants to cut me off before I can say anything, or because she just wants to avoid things getting awkward. But whatever the reason, Sora raises her voice and stares into my eyes.
なんていうか、あの時は私おかしくて、恋人になんてなれないのは分かってる。ちゃんと分かってる。
See, it's funny, right? Because the thing that I didn't want to happen happened, of her powers affecting her ability. Essentially, because of her powers going out of control, she kind of, did the whole thing of confessing, and then they had sex in a different thing, but that was non-canon because you can't really transition into the next route through that one or whatever the fuck. And then like the thing that I wanted to happen is also happening, because now that she isn't under the essentially spell of her artifact, she's confessing with a more rational mind, as rational as a love-struck girl can be, but regardless, a lot more rational than when she was when she was an artifact user, right?
でもさ、やっぱりずっと好きだったからさ、隠しておく気持ち言っちゃったからさ、このままはい元通りねってのも無理で、だからお兄ちゃん、一個だけお願いがあります。
あ
一回だけでいいから、一回だけでいいから、私とチューしてください。チュー、お願いします。一回でいいから。
ほっぺた？
いや、唇にマウストゥマウス。
唇か。
いいじゃん、一回お願い、一回だけ。それで気持ちに整理つけるから、一発ブチュッとしてくれるだけでいいから。
ブチュってお前、まだちょっとおかしいんじゃないかって思えるくらい必死だな。
そりゃ必死だよ、超必死だよ。してよ、キスミーブリーズ。
Like I said, as rational as a love-struck girl can be.
悩む？そんな悩む？たかがキスじゃん。アメリカなら普通だよ、アメリカなら。
No, it's the Europeans that do that, but they do it on the cheek. Unless you're French. But like, you'd want to be French.
アメリカでも兄弟が口と口でキスをしないだろう。
They do in Alabama, never mind. They do in Louisiana, never mind. They do it in the South, never mind.
お願いだよ、キスしてよ、キスしてよ。
お前、ちょっと待て。あの時とは違う意味で正気を失ってるな。一回冷静になれ、マジで。
わざとだよ、わざとテンション上げてるの。普通の告白みたいな空気出してさ、真剣に告白してさ、振られたら立ち直れないじゃん。だからアホになってるの。後で笑えるように。
笑えるか？
真剣な顔で無理って言われるより断然マシ。
キスね。
いや、ほんとお願いします。恋人になりたいとか面倒なことはもう言わないんでキスしてください。お願いします。キモいって分かってるけど、一回だけマジでお願いします。マジで。
めっちゃ早口だな。
本当はキス以外もしたいけど、キスで我慢するからお願いします。兄に恋してしまった妹の願いを叶えてください。
Yeah, they can't even use the excuse that they're not blood related because they're step siblings.
お願いします。
風呂。洗ってきて。洗ってきて。
一緒に入ろう的な。キスだけじゃなく、もっといいことしようぜ的な。
そんなことは考えていませんが。
は？
洗ってきて。風呂入りたい。
マジかよ。
早く。
わかったよ。好きになっちゃってすみません。わあ、やばい。予想以上にへこんだ。やばい。
空。
I kiss her on the lips as she turns around. She's so shocked she stiffens up. And to be honest, I'm not as calm as I thought I would be either. I kept debating whether I should hug her or stroke her hair or something. But ultimately I can't come to a decision, so I just stand there like an idiot. In the end, that's as far as we go. Just one quick kiss. I don't really know what you're supposed to do after you kiss someone, but I end up keep kind of frowning on accident. However, it seems Sora's still too shocked to pay attention to the look on my face. She's totally out of it.
今、 スした？
したな。
わかんなかった。もう一回。
一回の約束だ。空。空。
何？
お前の気持ちとは一緒じゃないかもしれないけど、俺もお前のことは大事に思ってるよ。こういう言い方しかできないのは悪いが、家族として俺もお前を愛してる。キモいとか思ったりしないから安心しろ。恋人にはやっぱりなれないけど、お前の気持ちは大事にしたいと思ってる。ありがとう。嬉しいよ。だからそういうことだ。
My thoughts are still a mess, so I just clapped Sora on the shoulder and end the conversation. I sit back down, but Sora's standing in place, stunned. She slowly brings her finger to her lips.
やべえ。やべえ。やべえ。
I'm not exactly sure what's so holy about this shit, but that's shut the fuck up. But that's all she's saying. She keeps repeating those words to herself as she staggers out of the living room. That was probably her first kiss. I know it was mine. I can't believe my first kiss was with my sister of all people. I'm not sure how to feel about that.
やべえ。
Oh, he gets it now. And before I know it, I'm saying the same thing Sora was. If I'm being perfectly honest with myself, that did make my heart pound. Hell, it's still pounding. I'm pretty sure I'm not actually into my sister. Then again, the fact that I'm not 100% sure is itself a problem. I should probably stop lying to myself and admit that Sora turns me on. Chances are we won't be able to act like nothing's happened after this. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Obnoxious as she is, Sora supported me through thick and thin. She's the most important person in my life. At least I know for sure.